Good morning, Bonneville County. How are you? You've just joined breakfast with Senator Cook, Idaho State Senator. I am Senator in District 32, so that's the area kind of a little bit outside of Idaho Falls. It takes in Ammon and all the rest of Bonneville County. We're generally referred to as we are the donut. Donut hole is, I believe, 33, and we're 32, which is on the outside. Anyway, I try to do this every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. To try to get to know you, figure out what the issues are, give you some information of what's going on in Bonneville County or in the state. I serve on the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee, the State Education Committee, the Senate Education Committee, the State Group Insurance Advisory Committee, the Idaho Technology Authority Committee, and the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education Committee. And I was just asked also to serve, about 4 or 5 months ago, to serve on the building facility for K-12 buildings for education, to look at a way to figure out how to get these buildings, schools built that need to be built across the state in a way that we can afford it. Okay, so anyway, if you have some questions, please write them up, text me, email me, call me, whatever works for you. I would love to hear from you. I am not an expert on everything, and so I expect to hear from you and what some of the issues that you face so that we can move forward and figure out what we need to do. Midterm elections, so they're done, at least they're done and in the books here in Idaho. There's a few things going on across the nation maybe still that are not quite complete. The kind of the disappointing thing is the red wave, that big red wave that was supposed to happen kind of fizzled out and we got a big red ripple. But nonetheless, grateful for those that got out and voted and knew the issues and voted. Currently, the U.S. Senate, sits at 49 Democrats and 49 Republicans, so it's very, very close. There's 2 seats still up for grabs, and those are in Georgia and Nevada, and they're still counting those. I guess Georgia, they're going to have a runoff, and so we'll find out on that one. In the U.S. House Representatives, there are 201 Democrats and 211 Republicans. And there are 23 House seats still up for grabs. So it kind of looks like that we'll win the House. The Republicans will win the House. And the Senate, it's a little iffy. We'll see what happens there. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Here in Idaho, we had some huge changes in the legislative branch. There were 11 first-time members, in the Idaho Senate. And there's 28 rookies in the Idaho House of Representatives. So what does that mean? Basically, out of 105 total representative seats in the Idaho legislative, more than 1/3. So 105 total seats in the legislative. You got 70 in the House and 35 in the Senate. So out of all of those, there's a turnover of 51 people. More than 1/3. More than 1/3 of Idaho's entire legislative body has never served there before. 1/3 has never served. Now if you include the legislators who previously served in Idaho legislature, but were not serving in 2022, and legislators that jumped over from the House to the Senate or the Senate to the House, then our turnover grows to 51. There's 51 people in new positions. So in the Senate, we have a total of 35 senators, and there will be 20 new faces this session in the Senate. So that's over half. Out of the 70 positions in the House of Representatives, there'll be 31 new people. Some of the, you might ask, well, why the big turnover? Is it really unusual? Well, yeah, it is. I think this is probably the biggest turnover they've ever had in the state of Idaho. So why? Well, you had a big redistricting that happened in 2021. which changed all the districts where people were voting. And so some districts, there was no incumbent in those districts, and some districts you had several incumbents that were there. So that happened. We had several who retired. Says, I've done my duty, I'm done. I'll let somebody else run in my place and have a chance to serve. And then there were 19 incumbent Republicans that lost during the May primary elections. And then there were 2 incumbents that lost in the November 8th general election. So with all these changes, it ripples all the way through the leadership. So, for instance, in the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House, Bedke, he's no longer there anymore. He is the Lieutenant Governor, and so they got to get a new Speaker of the House. And if you get that, that's probably will ripple down to the other leadership positions. In the Senate, just look at the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee, which we call JFAC. This is the committee that sets all of the budgets for the state, for all the agencies. There are 10 representatives and 10 senators that sit on this committee. And out of those 20 people, 12 will be brand new. That have never been, that are brand new, that weren't serving on JFAC in 20 and 22. And so you got a 50% overturn just in JFAC, okay, over 50%. And then your co-chairs and your assistant co-chairs in JFAC, they're all gone. So this will all be new for our chairs to sit on as well. Most of the Senate committee chairman positions. Okay, so we have, I think there's about 10 Senate sitting committees, and each committee has a chairman or a chairperson and an assistant chairperson on that. I think just about every one of the committees is going to have a new chairperson to sit in that and to oversee that. So lots and lots of changes. It'll be an interesting year. Out of all the changes that we have, though, I hope that we have a better working relationship with the House. I hope the Senate and the House work together, and we work together to make Idaho better, to deal with the issues that you are dealing with, that the Idaho people are dealing with, that we can fix some of those problems and get things working. Let's see, Idaho also, in those elections, Idaho passed an amendment. This amendment, I personally think it's a good thing. I voted for it. It's as you know, there's 3 branches in the government. Okay, go back to your 5th grade history class. You've got the executive, the legislative, and the judicial, and all 3 of those are supposed to provide checks and balances on each other. Well, the legislative branch couldn't call themselves back into session. The only way they could go back into session was if the executive branch called them. So this amendment, constitutional amendment that was voted on and passed, gives the legislative branch the right to call themselves back into session when they need to. With the caveat, okay, one problem, is that both the House and the Senate have to agree to go back into session by a vote of 60%. 60% of them have to say, yep, we'll go back into session. And they have to agree on what is the work we're going to do. It is not just wide open to go back to work and do whatever we want to. It's very, very narrow, and we all have to, 60% of the House and the Senate have to agree on it. So again, I think it's a good thing. I think it will be good. I do not believe it's a step to try and get the legislative working full-time. At least I hope not. I do not want to be a full-time legislator. I love my job. I'm a computer geek. I love writing software, and so I truly enjoy that. And I love Idaho Falls. I don't want to live in Boise. And so you will not see me moving to try and get our legislators in full-time. I disagree with that. I'm not for that one at all. Okay, some of the last things that were on that ballot to vote for, you had the District 91 $250 million bond. That one failed. to get the required number of votes. It failed by only 8%. And so that one is gone away. District 93, their school bonds, they had 2 of them. And they were able to pass their bonds. And so those are good. So I guess in closing here, I just want to thank you for your confidence in me, for giving me your vote. I promise you that I will work hard. I will study the issues and I'll do whatever I can. And most important, I will listen to you. And that's where I need to hear. I need to hear from you, what your comments, what your thoughts are on the issues. I am not an expert on everything. And so I reach out. Many times I'm sitting on the floor at the time of a bill that's coming across, and I'm not sure about this. And I text some people back here in Bonneville County and ask, what is your opinion? What do you think about this? And so I do rely on information from you. So let's see. Let's see. I have a question here from Renee Cook. Please share with me why you voted no on the bond. All right. Well, I'm sure this will bring up a lot of heated conversation, but I voted no on the bond. Okay, so I live in District 91. I am a believer in education. I am passionate about education. I want the very best for our kids. I voted no on the bond because I believe that there was other options that have not been fully vetted. And I put those options up to the school board and to the superintendent, and we talked about them. I think there's some real options that we could do that will help our children to be safe, that will help the overcrowding of it. And so all the issues why we felt like we needed a new high school, I believe there's other options that could be vetted and explored and done with a lot less money. I am absolutely a believer that we do need 2 new elementary schools. No questions asked. We need the new elementary schools, and so I'm for that. So I hope I'm not making too many people mad about that. And if you are, voice your opinion. I'd love to sit down and talk with you. Maybe we can get 10, 15 people together and I can explain where I'm at and why I'm thinking that. And I'd love to hear from you why you think we should have passed it or shouldn't have passed it. But there's a lot of talk about lowering the threshold. So to pass the bond, we needed, 2/3, which is 66 and 2/3 vote, I think. So 66%, something like that. And so we didn't hit the threshold. And there's a lot of talk about, hey, we have to lower that. We're only the second state in the nation that has that high. I think there's a lot of things we can do to look at this. I am not for lowering the threshold, but I want to be a part of the solution and see what we can do. And part of that solution, I need to hear from you. And so I would love to sit down and there's, like I said, I'm serving on a committee that's looking at some different options, what we could do to help across the state, to help our school buildings. We got some school buildings that are really hurting. So anyway, I would love to sit down with any of you. If you want to put a group together, let me know when a time and a date and I'll show up. Or if you want to just do a phone call, we can do that. But that's where I stand. And anyway, it's Saturday. It's a sacred day. My grandson is playing basketball, and I'm going to go watch him play basketball. And it's cold outside, so stay inside and bundle up and stay warm. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next Saturday. All right. Bye.